You might say I have a love-love relationship with Ford. I love the Mustang GT, I love the GT350, the GT500, I love my wife's Mustang Mach E, but I'm going to say words that I never thought I would hear coming out of my mouth. Do not buy a 2022 Mustang GT. What's up, Radar Cars family? Firstly, Ford just confirmed that the 2022 Mustang GTs, those with the V8 engines, that is the Mustang GT and the Mustang Mach 1, will have a power and torque reduction of 10 horsepower and 10 torque. The Ford rep said, and I quote, "Changes were made to meet more stringent LEV3 regulatory emissions requirements that resulted in a horsepower and torque reduction for the 5.0-liter V8 engine. Great job, ice cream boy." Now this just isn't about power loss, it's about a kid. A kid who had a dream that one day he could grow up to buy a 460 horsepower Mustang GT. You are a shatterer of kids' dreams, Ford. A shatterer of kids' dreams. A 10 horsepower and torque reduction is it's like running down the stairs on Christmas morning with your little feet pitter-pattering, reaching those little fingers deep into your stocking, and pulling out a picture of AOC. You're gonna smoke a turd in hell for that one, Ford. How could you do that to children, Ford? So the Mustang GT currently makes 460 horsepower, and for 2022 that number will be gutted to 450 horsepower. Still a bargain for the price in terms of horsepower per dollar spent. But what's it going to cost you to make that power back? Now before you disagree, make sure that you have never purchased an exhaust, a cold air intake, a tune, headers, etc. just to capture just a little bit more power out of that beautiful V8 engine. According to SEMA, half of all Mustang owners mod their vehicles for more performance. Now, is Ford dropping the price of the 2022 Mustang GTs to offset that loss in power? Probably. Not. So let me get this straight, Ford. You're offering substantially less horsepower and snipping the car's balls off in terms of torque loss. And you're still charging the same price? Or let me guess, you're gonna jack the price up because this whole supply chain crap excuse that everybody's giving. Ford, do you think we drive our Mustang GTs to go to knitting class? That's what Priuses are for. The Mach 1 is good for 480 horsepower in 2021, and that will be reduced to a sloth-like 470 horsepower for 2022. So I know some of you are going to say, hey, 10 horsepower, that's not so substantial, but this isn't about horse-purs and torque. It's about honor, bragging rights, so we can show off to our wives as they roll their eyes behind our backs and make fun of us to their friends. And I will tell you right now that 10 horsepower and torque you will feel in the Buttigieg dyno. Buttigieg. And even if you don't, you will always know in the back of your mind that deficit is there. That power loss will eat away at the back of your mind like the dormant hemorrhoid that it is, until one day you just won't be able to take it anymore. Just think about it. You go to your car meet and your dudes are going to be like, hey, isn't that the Mustang with reduced horsepower? And what about those of us who put on exhausts and intakes and tunes to chase down those additional numbers? Now we're going to have to work doubly as hard. It's already hard enough for us to squeeze additional power out of a naturally aspirated engine these days. Excuse me. Anyway, these changes won't affect the base EcoBoost Turbo 2.3-liter inline 4, which makes 310 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque in base form, or 330 horsepower with the optional performance package. The top-of-the-line Shelby GT500 supercharged 5.8-liter V8 will also continue on with the same 760 horsepower and 625 pound-feet of torque. So apparently the GT500 is better at emissions. Whether or not you think that 10 horsepower and 10 torque is significant, which it is, that's 1 mile per hour and 0.1 second on the quarter mile. People are already removing their seats, air conditioners, radios, and more to achieve those kinds of numbers. And like it or not, the world we live in, the motorcycle and car world, is ruled by numbers. And they're supposed to go up, Ford, not down. And by the way, the 2022 Corvette also had to introduce a lot of improvements to the powertrain to comply with emissions without losing any power. I never thought I'd say this, but high five Chevy. Hey, but at least Ford compensated us for this insult to humanity by offering us more colors. By the way, we're emasculating the Mustang GT, but hey, colors! The 2022 Mustang California Edition gets a variety of aesthetic enhancements and special badging. I'll give you special badging in your face, Ford. and can be optioned with the GT Performance package. But it can't be optioned for 10 more horsepurs. We'll also get the Ice White edition. The Ice White appearance package will make your Mustang GT look like a freaking giant snowball. Another attempt to divert our attention from this atrocity is the addition of a 2022 Stealth Edition. But alas, this is only for the EcoBoost model. The livery gets blacked out accents, mirrors, rear wing, and wheels. It's basically a murdered out EcoBoost. And it looks good. But none of this fluffery, and yes, I made up that word, none of this fluffery makes up for the loss of my two favorite numbers in the world, horsepower and torque. The optimist in me is hoping that these engine mods can somehow be removed by hand to gain the power back, but the optometrist in me knows better. Either way, it's a sad day when the engineers started losing the battle versus the regulators. They clearly have no more tricks up their sleeve, except for Chevy, and the climate change screamers are finally winning. Look, I like animals too. They're fluffy and delicious. And I love trees. That's why I feed them every day exactly what they want. A nice dish of carbon dioxide. There you go, little guys. You think trees breathe French fries? No. Tree Happy Meals consist of GT350 exhaust and cow farts. And I want to keep providing both. So eat beef, drive your V8s, hunt some deer, use your hairspray, unless you're a man. I hope that offended somebody. And save the damn trees, people. You can't save the planet. By the way, have you heard what God is going to be doing to this planet in the near future? Taking 10 horsepower away from the coolest car in the world is not going to stop that from happening. And neither is your hairspray. So enjoy life while it lasts, people. Otherwise, I sincerely have to recommend against buying the 2022 Mustang GT and buy the 2021 or older models instead. Unless you don't care much about power like I do. Especially since these will be the last non-EV Mustangs ever produced. Ever. If you didn't know, the S650 is going to be a hybrid. I did a video on that. I'll put it in the link in the description below. It's got thousands of views. I appreciate you guys for watching it. Thank you so much. Now, do I think Ford's going to disappoint on the S650? No, I don't. They haven't let me down so far, except for right now. Hopefully the S650 is going to be epic, but this is your last chance to buy a full, non-hybrid, naturally aspirated Mustang GT, guys. So as always, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's get some dialogue. Are you offended by the minus 10 horsepower and torque? Or couldn't you care less? Are you planning on buying a 2022 Mustang GT? Let's discuss. Alright guys, until next time, always remember the motto, always be kinder than necessary, and I will see you in the next one. Shut your bloody mouth.